Hi, I'm Lisa Andria, Transformation Life Coach. Welcome to the Ladies Who Leap podcast, where guests share their inspiring stories of leaping out of their comfort zone with confidence and power, and into a life of purpose and fulfillment. Let's listen to their life-changing stories so that we can all learn how to gain the courage to take a leap of faith into a life that we love so that we can all be ladies who leap. Welcome to the Ladies Who Leap podcast. Let's get started. Welcome to the Ladies Who Leap podcast. I appreciate that you're taking the time to listen to the inspiring stories of people who took a leap of faith to reach new heights in their life. My goal is that their stories inspire you to take the first steps of many to follow your own unique dreams. Today, I have the honor and privilege to have Lisa Gregory on as my guest. Welcome.
Thank you.
With over 22 years of business experience as a coach, trainer, advisor, and entrepreneur and a corporate leader, Lisa Chapman Gregory has broad and deep knowledge of the challenges facing individuals, entrepreneurs, employees, managers, and top executives as they strive to bring their best to the world and provide value. She has dual passions for improving the effectiveness of organizations and enabling individuals to make a unique contribution. Lisa is the principal consultant, coach, training developer, facilitator, and project manager for her own company, Coaching Matters. As part of her work, Lisa is also a certified strengths coach, trainer, co-author, and former thought leader with People Acuity, the interdependent leadership company based in North America. Lisa C. Gregory is the co-author of Stuck No More, Practical Self-Coaching for Everyday Problems, released in November 2024, coming up for release. We'll be talking about it at the end. The co-author of Shift Up, Strengths, Strategies for Optimal Living, and the creator of the Webinars Done Right series. So we have some fun information. Again, this is in perpetuity, so if it's past November, it's ready for you to get it. So welcome, Lisa.
Thank
you for joining.
Oh, it's nice to be here. And we have the power of the Lisas going on today, so I'm sure it's going to be magical.
Yep, it's going to be fun. The power of Lisa and Lisa.
Right.
So you're very entrepreneurial. You have a lot of businesses with your husband. You've always had your own businesses, or was that a transition that you made?
Oh, no. That was a scary transition I made twice.
Oh, we need to hear about these leaps. Let's start with that then.
Yes. So the first leap into entrepreneurialism came before I met my husband. I was single and working for a really great company. I had a fantastic job. I just traveled 80% of the time. And as a single woman in my mid-30s, early 30s, it was really difficult to manage a social life and be on the road all the time. And so after 3 years of doing that, I thought, I think I'm ready to make a change. Lisa, you and I have talked about why people leap and what is the impetus behind that. And sometimes it's a leap. Hopefully it's always a leap forward, but sometimes it's a leap forward into something. And sometimes it's a leap forward away from something. And so my first leap was a leap away. The job was really stressful. We're all ladies here, so I can confess. It got to a point where almost every day I would cry on the way home from work. I walked a mile and a half home, and I was glad for that commute because it gave me time to vent all of the stresses and let it go. There were so many things I loved about the job, the people I loved. There were so many things that were just enough with the job. And so I actually had an opportunity I chose an opportunity for myself to start preparing to leave a year in advance, and gave my boss a 9-month notice, which is unusual in most companies, but for the position I had, it took a while to find a replacement. And so I knew my goal was to quit on my birthday. And so that my first day as an entrepreneur was going to be on my birthday, and I was giving myself the day off. And so that was the first leap, was to leap away from really a lot of stress, a lot of overwhelm, and to leap forward into more autonomy over my time, over my schedule. The irony there for any of us who own our own businesses know we know that then I started working harder than I even worked in the job that felt crushing. The difference is I was working for myself and it was exciting. And I would wake up in the morning with a new idea and I would sit down on my computer and start working. And then I realized at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm still in my bathrobe. And I was having a great time and
Yeah.
working hard to get new clients and to make a contribution that felt important and meaningful to me. So that was the first leap. And it was really a leap away from pain and a leap into, I hope this works.
Well, and there's a lot of women that have to do that. I mean, myself included. There was a time when I just left because of the same type of stress. I took 6 months sabbatical. That's when I found out about coaching, but it also was that I realized if I couldn't go to another type of job or working in a different industry, that I would just downgrade myself in the same job and release some of that pressure of being in high pressure sales and telecom. So I completely understand. I know there's a lot of women that are sitting in that position right now. So it's good to hear the story of how you took that leap. I love that it was on your birthday and you took the day off. You said, "Yay, I did it." That's fantastic.
Yes.
And what
Yeah.
was the next leap?
The next leap was so I was in my own company doing consulting and training and development. That's my background. I have a master's in training design, and that's what I had done for large corporations and large companies and large clients under the umbrella of other people's companies. So that's what I did under my own umbrella. I did it for about a year and a half. Then I met the love of my life at 36, and we started moving towards marriage. And for a lot of reasons, it made sense for me to go back into corporate America and get another job. And at that point, I felt good about that decision. That felt like the right thing, and I was actually kind of excited about working with a team again. um, People management is very stressful, but there's something really wonderful about having people around you with a similar vision that you're trying to work with to achieve big things. And after a year and a half of working solo and partnering with clients, but you're kind of in and out, I missed a team. And so I went back into corporate America and became a director and then a vice president, and then moved to another division to vice president of a medium-sized company. It worked well for the first year and a half.
Oh my goodness, only a year and a half. Okay.
Yeah, I was there for 3. The last year and a half, leadership changes, and I again, in a different way, I started to feel the crush. This time of senior leadership, and I'm trying to manage the teams beneath me, and starting to as the kind of middle manager, vice president in the middle, just feeling the crush on both sides. And when there are decisions that are made in a company that you don't agree with, and you've had the experience of being on your own and doing business the way you want to do business, it's a little difficult. It's always difficult, but it was especially stressful. This time I made the leap, Lisa, because it started to affect my health. I started having heart palpitations at the ripe old age of 30. How old was I? 30, almost 40. Way too young. And it was only because of stress. And I even knew that's why it was happening. And I thought, I got to get out. And so I started cultivating some relationships and some people. I landed a couple of clients and a couple of gigs, so to speak, a couple of contracts that would get me through the end of that year. And this time I quit a little bit before my birthday. I quit in May and gave them notice. And boy, I'm free again. And again, it's a leap. This time it was a leap away from health issues and the stress, and which thankfully all resolved themselves very quickly. And it was a leap into a second opportunity to say, okay, I did this once. I did okay. I did well. I sustained my life. Can I do it better this time? Can I apply the things that I've learned now as I've matured even more in my career? And can I accelerate things? And so it was really, really exciting.
Yeah, because your experience in these companies and what you experience as an employee is something that you can use, I would assume, to apply to those that are still in that world. It's great
Absolutely.
lessons that you can apply to that, right?
Yes, it actually shaped my focus as a business owner. So my focus became reducing the toxicity that I see in corporate America, because I felt it and I experienced it multiple times and in multiple ways. It's not all bad, but life is too short to spend so many of our hours in toxicity, in frustration, and then we bring that home to our personal lives. And by this time, I had a husband who, unfortunately, for that last year and a half, every day I just come home and just kind of spew all of that negativity and anxiousness and frustration all over him. He was gracious enough to just kind of let it go. But, we bring home that toxicity from work and it affects the rest of our lives. And so it became part of my mission to help reduce that toxicity in organizations.
I was just going to ask, when did you understand that was your mission to help others? So
Mm,
obviously it came from this experience.
yeah.
So are there specific issues that come up a lot with particularly the women that you deal with as clients or executives that you have found in your work? Like what are those particular things that seem to come up a lot, and how do you coach them to overcome those challenges?
Yes. Great question. One of the things that comes up quite a bit, I think, for all of us is blindness. We're blind to our own genius and our own natural abilities. We're blind to other people's abilities. We're kind of blind as to what's really going on in interpersonal relationships at work or personally. And so one of the things that I love doing is using a strength-based approach to say, to figure out what's really going on, and always starting with me, right? Or starting with my client, not starting with what that person should do or how the company should change or why the process should be different. You don't have control over those things. Even in my VP role, I didn't have control over those things. I had a boss who had different ideas, but I have control and you have control over this. And so one of the things, particularly with women, that I love doing, but even with men, is to start with, let's name your brilliance. Those things that you do extraordinarily well, that you think are just ordinary, but they're high energy, high performance areas for you. They might be tasks, they might be relationship building, it might be the way you think about things or how you process information. You think it's normal and average because you think you are average. But in working with thousands of clients, Lisa, and I know you see this, no one is average. Everyone is their own brand of uniqueness. And so once you start to reflect back as a coach, back to the client and say, here's what I see. Here's your brilliance. Did you know that other people don't do this so well? Really? I just thought everybody did it. No, they don't do it. So, how do we leverage more of what is natural and brilliant in you? And then how do we mitigate kind of the flip side of every brilliance? Taken too far or applied in the wrong situation, brilliance looks like fallibility. And so, but it's two sides of the same coin. We don't have to get rid of the fallibility. We just have to flip it back over to the brilliant side. So, how do we do that?
Very, yeah, interesting. Because what you're talking about of not knowing their brilliance is imposter syndrome. It's that name where you really think, oh, I got here because of chance or luck or because somebody else had a lost opportunity and I was able to take advantage of it. No, it's because of your brilliance. It's because of your steadfastness. It's because of your skills. So what you're doing is in showing them their strengths that are very unique, and not necessarily everybody does that, is really breaking them through out of that imposter syndrome, which can trap you in a feeling of, I don't have control over anything. If I don't even have control over my own thoughts about myself and how good I'm doing, how can I feel any sense of control in a job that I have? When we have those things in those jobs, because there are boss who are making decisions that have, we don't have any control over. So that's a really, really good method to do that.
That's right. And as an entrepreneur, I'll say, I kind of live in imposter syndrome. Like I'm always faking it till I make it. Every day, every week, I'm learning something new. And I have four businesses. I've been an entrepreneur for 14, 15 years. I've been self-employed for 10, 100%. And I'm still learning. There are new technologies, there are new marketing ways. I'm constantly in that state of I know a little bit and I don't know a lot. And I'm learning and I'm trying to become. And it is okay to not be there. It is okay to be becoming.
I love that because I'm always having people understand that you need to feel uncomfortable to be able to grow. When
Yes.
and some of my clients are even afraid to say, I don't even want to try because I'm not at that level yet. Well, no, you're not because you're learning something new and that's growing. So can you repeat that again? Because that was a really good, I loved how you
I
said.
don't know. You probably had to play back the tape. I think we are always becoming, and we have
Yes.
to be okay with not being there yet, but that we're all in process. And we have some successes under our belt, and we have some future successes coming, and we have some things that are kind of mucky in the middle. And that will never change if we're growing and learning and developing as I think we should be.
Yeah. Yeah. So who gave you this entrepreneurial spirit? Because you had that spirit that now drives you as an adult, all the businesses you had and everything. Who gave you that?
Oh my goodness, I can't believe you asked that question. My mother did.
Oh, that's so cool.
My
Tell
mother
me, tell
did.
us, please. Yeah.
I'm the oldest of six children. My dad is a retired emergency room physician. My mom and dad put themselves through undergrad and put themselves through medical school. My mom worked various careers and jobs. And then once he got to residency, then she was full time, stay at home, raising children and doing all the things that that entails. And being a CEO of a household of eight is no small thing. And she's brilliant and she's amazing. And when I was 15, she and my dad decided to buy a franchise business in our area. I grew up in just outside Washington, D.C. in Virginia. The deal was my mom was going to run it. My dad would help with the billing, but he was working as a full time physician. And mom ran it out of our home. And so I, as a high schooler, got to watch her and listen to her on the phone. And after I graduated from college, I came back and I worked for her as a salesperson for a summer. I watched her join the franchise board as a member and then became the president of the franchise board with over 250 members. Um, and so it was really wonderful to watch my mom, who's a mom, right? And she was a mom to me and all my friends and my siblings, have this whole other life of entrepreneurism and sales and marketing and leadership. And she was a leader. She was a leader at church. She's a fantastic teacher. To watch her train employees, I got to see all of that because it was in our home. Um, and she really gave me the thirst for that, and I envisioned my future life and my dad, because my dad's schedule was such that as a kid, when he was working 5 days on, he worked 12-hour shifts. We didn't see him, but when he was 5 days off, he came to everything. And sometimes they would take us out of school and we would go on field trips and go to history sites. And I loved having my dad in my life. I loved having my dad there and able to come to school things that were in the middle of the day. So I had a vision for my life someday when I have a family. I would love to have the flexibility that I saw a physician's life and an entrepreneurial life afford you. I did not anticipate 6 months after I got married, my husband coming to me and saying, I want to quit my job. I feel like I want to start a business. He was surprised how quickly I said yes. He had no idea that I had this as a vision in my life because of the flexibility, the opportunity to invest your time in the people and the things and the opportunities that matter most to you instead of being chained to someone else's dream and someone else's 9 to 5.
What a gift to be given by your mom
Amazing.
and your dad, but
Mhm.
especially your mom.
Yeah.
I mean, how many of us, I know there can't be too many of us that in high school got really taught what it's like to have your own business and how you do that, how you network, how you become part of the marketing, the calling, the selling. That was a real gift. I'm so glad I asked that question because
It
I'm
was a
really
good
excited
question.
that I hope there are more of the listeners that have had that opportunity. But boy, that really was a great start to be able to be successful later in life and understand kind of, I'm assuming what the pitfalls would be too. You realize that not every call that she made turned into a sale.
No, and there's a huge difference between revenue and profit. And the business can be a whole family situation. Like we would, as kids, we would help send out the invoices to get paid, and that collections mattered. And it wasn't just about how much you billed, it was how much you actually collected and how much you kept at the end of the day. And that there was no barriers to how many hours you worked. In my house, we didn't work on Sunday, so we knew that that would be a day off, but 6 days a week, you got to have hustle if you're owning your own business. And to this day, I work 6 days a week.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But you're enjoying what you're
I
doing.
love it.
I mean, can I ask this question? And I ask it sometimes to my guests. What would be the cost if you didn't realize or make that jump away from the corporate world when you were really suffering physically? What would have been the cost to your life?
Oh, I would have been a bear to live with.
And
It was not
possibly
enough. Like I would have worn my husband down.
physical issues,
Oh, for
maybe?
sure, for
Mhm.
sure. And I would have left that job for another job. And I may have taken with me a sense of failure, that I couldn't manage the stress, that I couldn't ever figure out how to change the leaders above me. Um, Moving out of that and into my own thing did a couple of things. One, that was successful. That is a hard leap to change from an employee to a business owner. The second thing was the career that I chose is all about people. And so I could look back and see all the successes that I'd had in that role, how well I survived it, the places and the times when I stood up for myself and for my team, why it was difficult to make that a winning strategy ever. So I don't feel any failure around that role. Obviously the physical things changed. I was able to, with a flexible schedule, be there for several of my family members in the ensuing 2 or 3 years for periods of time when they really needed intense support. I would not have been able to do that had I not made the leap.
Wow.
Had
Yeah.
I not made the leap, I wouldn't have met you. I wouldn't have met like
Yeah.
thousands of other people that I met because of the leap. I could never see that, right? It's a little like Indiana Jones. You can't see the other side very well, and you can't see even where the bridge is when you take that leap. So something in you just says, now's the time, and I'm done. I'm done with the old life. I'm done waiting for the new life. I'm going for it. It's terrifying and it's so exciting. And the world opens up. You just have to stay the path. Don't turn around as soon as you make the leap. Don't turn around and grab the side that you just came from. It's tempting. It's super tempting. Go forward, go forward, go forward. Don't quit. Don't quit in the new endeavor.
And then when you don't quit and you know what your why is, you know what you want to do, the universe, as I always say, gives you your how and just starts bringing opportunities and people into your life.
It does. It does.
So you have obviously made an impact in a lot of other people's lives. Is there any one of your clients that particularly stands out that you've made a real impact that you can kind of tell us a story about
There are so many, and I love them all
it?
because even the tough ones, because we learn from something from them.
I
And
was just going to say that we learned from the tough
yeah,
ones.
and
Yeah.
as a coach, you get to walk into people's lives in a really special and often vulnerable way and time. One woman that I had the opportunity to coach a number of years ago was on the precipice of either getting fired or quitting her job, feeling underappreciated. She came to me as a coaching client because she was sent to me, which is always uncomfortable for them, right? It feels like going to the principal's office. So in the first session, though, I was just very open. My goal is to find your brilliance, and let's find a beautiful place for you to contribute and contribute in ways that matter to you. And that's all that she really wanted. Um, and so, right from the beginning, it was an exciting conversation because she responded so well to the positivity and to my belief that this journey was going to be worth it. And together, we're going to figure out some of the things that she wants to change. And I had her articulate that. I knew what her boss wanted, but I had her articulate that. Over the subsequent sessions, and we only met 6 sessions for 3 months. My goal is to get fired. My goal is to get people like up and transitioned. Like, let me help you through the leap. And then once you're on solid ground, you run. And when you get to another leap, give me a call. I'm still here. So we did 6 sessions. And through the 6 sessions, just watching, and Lisa, I know you've had this experience, and other women, like, we pour ourselves into children, we pour ourselves into siblings, into spouses, and we watch the transformation. That's what happened here. She went from withdrawn, fearful, uncertain in her job to, wait a minute, I own this. What do I want? I'm brilliant. I'm amazing. Yeah, all this stuff that Lisa's telling me that I'm doing so well, I'm doing that really well. Well, how do I want to use that? Do I want to stay here? Do I want to leave? It's my choice. It's my choice. And to see her like take back the driver's seat in her own life was so exciting. The last session, she was like, Lisa, we're done. I'm so happy to be fired. And she was ready and she had moved forward. It was like watching a rose open, right? The potential is there, but until she fully bloomed and blossomed and saw it for herself, she didn't really believe it.
And that is what's so satisfying about what we do.
I love it.
It's just when you can see other people shine and follow their dreams and appreciate and love themselves, it really is just special, very special.
Exactly.
So what are you looking forward to in the next month? We gave a little hint in the beginning.
So I'm taking another leap. I wrote a book for myself, by myself, with my co-author, Dr. Steve Jeffs. He and I have worked in strengths together for a long time, and it will be published and out just in the next couple of weeks. So by the end of November, Stuck No More, practical self-coaching for everyday problems. We've taken our four best coaching tools for when people get stuck, whether you get stuck in procrastinating tasks or thinking negatively about somebody or something. Like, there are lots of ways to get stuck. And these 4 tools that get you unstuck about 40% of the time. 80% of the time. I share these with corporate clients and leaders, but what about all the people that I'll never reach, that aren't in companies that will invest in this, or who are solopreneurs or entrepreneurs? How do I help them get unstuck? So we wrote this book to help them self-coach, to ask yourself the questions, to help yourself get unstuck. And of course, there's more to come, online resources and coaching, et cetera. But the initial step is like, let's just get unstuck.
Yeah, and
Out of the
because
hole.
companies are made up of the people that work there. So helping each individual be at their full potential, or at least be happy and productive and effective in what they're doing at their work, if they're working for a corporation, will just lift up the corporation and make them a better asset. So yeah, this is fun. Stuck No More is the book.
Yes.
And if this is past the end of November of 2024, you can go get it. I would assume on Amazon and anywhere else that you can get
That's
books
right.
like that.
Amazon, the audiobook is everywhere you get audiobooks, and stucknomorebook.com. Stucknomorebook.com.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I do ask my guests to share their favorite quote, mantra, or positive affirmation with our audience and kind of why you chose it, because I do feel that even one person is affected by it in a positive way, then we've done our job. So do you have your
Can I share too?
Yes,
I
yes,
picked
please.
one. I picked one, Lisa, and then I was like, oh, they need to know. I opened a fortune cookie once from a Chinese restaurant. No lie, this is what it said. Overnight success takes about 10 years. I was like, Yes, it does. I was in my 10th year of business. It made me laugh so hard. So don't give up. Don't give up. It takes a while, and appreciate that the people around you that look like they've just had instant overnight success, they've been at it a while. They've been at it a while, if it's true sustainable success. But my quote is this, because it has to do with mindset, and I'm a big fan and believer in mindset. The quote is, "The secret to having it all is believing that you already do."
And that's really the message that you've been saying this whole time on the podcast. Believe that you have the skills already. You have the brilliance in you, and understanding that is very important.
Yes.
Lisa, thank you so much for being on the Ladies Who Lead podcast and sharing all this wise and wonderful information. How can listeners reach you and even learn even more? I know we have stucknomore.com, but how else can they reach you?
Yeah, Stuck No More Book. We had to add the book.
Stucknomorebook.com
Stucknomorebook.com is probably the best way to reach me. My other businesses are all kind of scattered throughout. You can also find me on LinkedIn, Lisa Chapman Gregory, and I'd love to connect.
Yeah. Well, everyone, thank you, Lisa, for joining us. And everybody, thank you for listening. And make sure you subscribe, because I have new episodes coming out on the 1st and the 8th of every month. And I would love to have you listen to all this brilliance that is coming out of these wonderful guests that are here, especially Lisa Gregory. So thank you, Lisa Chapman Gregory. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Everybody
Lisa.
have a great day. Thanks so much for listening or watching. Please subscribe to the Ladies Who Lead podcast to be notified of new episodes. And I would love to hear from you. Let me know what works, what doesn't, and if you have a story to tell, please reach out. Come join the LEAP community at the Ladies Who Leap Club Facebook group. Remember, leaping out of your comfort zone is where the growth happens.